Hi, I'm Candace.
And I'm Ripley.
And this is Comicsplaining.
The show where I think we hopefully have the sound at least semi-sorted out.
Hopefully.
The last one was not tremendous. Turns out that if you speak into the mic, everything sounds so much better.
Yeah, that's insane. I've never heard of such a thing.
I know. Wild, right?
Also, sorry for not having an episode last week. I was recovering from a cold and coughing my brains out.
You caught my death plague.
I did.
So, we are here a week late. I have nowhere to put my feet.
Because the cat is there.
Fucking cat.
So, it's time to return to some Thor. Can you tell me what happened last time?
So, Odin was mad because Thor was on Earth, and Thor was like, I want to stay here and deal with some Earth stuff.
What happened before that?
Was that the one with they had the rods? They were flying through space, and then Odin got really mad, and he destroyed the enchanter that came to beat his ass, and then the other ones were defeated. So Thor was like, I don't want to go home, I want to do some Earth shit. And because Odin was absolutely raging still, he's not gotten over it at all, he's like, well, fine, fuck you, all you get is your strength, and you can stay on Earth. And Don's like, wait, shit, I
don't exist anymore.
Yeah, I can't turn into Don, so this is a problem. So he went to go get a job at the Circus of Crime, who needed a temporary lackey, temporary strongman, and he said that part of his whole gimmick was pretending he was Thor.
Because he fucked up and accidentally said something that sounded like Thor.
Yeah, so they're off to do their first crime.
What are they trying?
His first crime.
What crime are they trying to do?
You gotta steal a big gold elephant.
No.
It's
a bull.
It's a bull. It's not an elephant.
It's another large animal.
Yeah. I had the idea.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. So, we had the enchanters. We pretty much dealt with the enchanters last time entirely. And then we started on this circus story, which is very good.
You would say that very hesitantly.
I don't know what you mean. Anyway, we're going to start off with Thor number 146 from August of 1967. Written by Stan Lee, penciled by Jack Kirby, inked by Vince Colletta, and lettered by Artie Simek. So, having gotten the job, Thor is showing off for his new co-workers when the ringmaster approaches with a gift. He says that because Thor looks like Thor, they should lean into that.
Oh my god.
And presents him with a new costume, which is just his outfit, but shitty.
I hate this. Thor is also looking, like, absurdly hunky.
Yeah, he's very handsome this issue. I like the way that they have his bangs, like, swooped. I like that much better than when they give him turf bangs.
Yeah.
So Thor sulks off to suit up, and the other carnies go about their business, rehearsing for the big heist.
As you do.
Yeah. But before that, they have to put on a circus, because they are a circus.
Right. You gotta make the money.
That's Thor sulking in his dressing room. The circus begins with the performers and the animals parading out in front of the crowd, including Thor, who's on an armored horse. But the crowd reacts negatively to the idea of a performer impersonating Thor. I don't really understand why.
Right. It's clearly a gimmick.
Right, like...
You went to a circus.
Like, one guy is like, there's no way Thor would be acting in a circus. And another guy is like, he's a phony. And it's like, duh, he's an actor.
Right, he's a guy at a circus. He's obviously not fucking Thor. I mean, he is, but...
Right.
As an audience member, I would not assume that this is fucking Thor.
And also, why would you be mad about it?
Right.
I don't understand. But they're mad. So Ringmaster has Thor throw his hammer at a target to prove his
Thorness.
His cred. But the hecklers won't be convinced until they see the hammer fly back. So Ringmaster says that it will, though Thor is skeptical. So Ringmaster brings down a giant spinny thing, like the one that's on his hat, and uses it to hypnotize the entire crowd so that Thor can go pick up the hammer and the crowd will just see it returning to his hand.
Yeah, I kind of figured that's where that was gonna go when he was like, don't worry about it, bro.
Yeah. Thor seemingly doesn't react to this happening because he's confused about why people are clapping.
I'm also confused because they were very upset just earlier.
But don't worry about it because he sees Jane in the crowd and instantly forgets what he was doing.
Holy shit. Wow, so not over it at all. Not thinking his thing with Sif is off to a good start here.
Jane is there. She's seemingly on a date with a handsome fellow. This might be Dr. Kincaid from where we saw Jane last. It doesn't particularly look like him, but I guess it could just be a random brown-haired dude.
Right.
Sulking a little bit, again, Thor goes backstage where Princess Python tries to put the moves on him, but Ringmaster interrupts because it's time to enact their plan. I guess the circus is over?
That was very brief.
It was very fast, but it's time. So Ringmaster starts with hypnotizing Thor.
Okay, but so Thor's entire performance was getting heckled and breaking a block?
Yeah. It's weird, right? Because it does seem that he goes out and then immediately leaves.
Maybe there's they have a plant out in the audience, so that's why he does it.
Maybe. That would make sense. That sounds like the Circus of Crime, to have a plant. He's a phone. That would make sense, actually, because it doesn't make sense that the crowd is heckling him in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Ringmaster hypnotizes Thor. And they're gonna get on to the crime part of the circus.
So why did they have to kill him if they're just hypnotizing him through all of the crime parts? Because they were definitely planning to kill him.
I mean, it feels pretty poorly planned out, but I guess the idea is, like, they can't risk even the possibility that he could get wise to what happened, or that, like, the cops could use him to track down the circus or whatever.
And they could also just have an extra strongman to go with, like, extra crimes. I don't think, I mean, obviously the Circus of Crime is just a fucking bunch of jokers, but, like, I don't think that they've thought through this crime business very well.
No, I don't think so. I think they should stick to the circus.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cut to the exterior of an unnamed museum some undetermined time later, where a couple of guards, who are helpfully labeled
Guard,
are wondering why they heard a truck pull up at this hour.
I'm guessing that a truck pulled up.
Right, exactly. They decide to go check when suddenly a clown on a unicycle sweeps out to distract them.
Gotta hate when that happens. Admittedly, that would be pretty distracting.
It would be pretty distracting. And then the Flying Gambinos, or whatever the fuck they're called.
I think that's it, or maybe it isn't.
I think that's what they're called. They arrive to lead the cops on a merry chase away from their post. These are really bad guards. Also, I'm wondering why they're all holding assault rifles. Also, I'm wondering what the fuck is going on with this plan that the clown and the acrobats are just, like, running up to the guards and like, hey, we're circus people and we're robbing you.
Right. Gee, who could it be? Who committed this crime?
We'll never figure it out. We couldn't possibly track the clown on a unicycle. Ringmaster orders the human cannonball into action, shooting him through a window because these guys don't know the meaning of subtlety. Once there, he helps Princess Python up as her pet slithers along the wall.
You know, it makes sense that they're not good at subtlety, though. Their whole thing is putting on a show.
It's true. They run down the hallway, encountering a guard who quickly gets a very tight hug from a very big snake.
That's a fucked up looking bull.
They go open the door for Ringmaster and Thor, who waltz on through to the chamber of the Golden Bull. I'd like to say, I don't think that these guys have really thought this through, specifically with regards to how they're actually going to get the money. Because when you go steal something like art or like artifacts or whatever from a museum, you don't just then have a nebulous pile of money. You have to sell it to a fence.
Yep, you gotta put it on the black market.
Right, and the more notable the item is, the more, like, singular it is. If it's, like, one-of-a-kind item, the harder it is going to be to sell.
Right.
Because nobody wants to buy that because it can be very easily tracked as stolen.
Yes. So this is just for Elon Musk's man cave.
Right, exactly. So, like, this is a bad plan, but it's the 60s, so I guess... And also, these are circus people. They're carnies, so probably they don't know this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Circus of Crime is pretty much known for being bad at crime.
Yeah.
So, this tracks.
So, Ringmaster orders Thor to do his job and pick up the bowl, which he does, because he's hypnotized.
Oh, and I bet, of course, they're gonna go run into some newspaper guys who are gonna be like, Thor is bad! Don't you see Thor in his Thor costume? Thor bad! Just a guess.
Apparently, the plan is that Cannonball is using his jetpack to burn a hole in the wall to get the bull out. And I can't express how dumb that is.
They got the bull in there somehow!
Yeah, is there no way to carry it to, like, is there not, like, a dock that you could carry it to where they get shipments in?
Or a particularly large window?
Also, burning a hole in the wall sounds like a great way to burn the building down.
Yeah.
That doesn't really work. And it's not like a fucking, like a welding torch or whatever that you see in, like, heist movies sometimes. It's like a big-ass flamethrower. And it's shooting fire all over the place, and it's like, this is dumb. Meanwhile, so they pull a crane out of their truck. I don't know how they put a crane in the truck without people noticing, but they did.
How do they afford crime cranes?
I don't know, but they have one. So they have the crane pulled up to grab the bull and hoist it out of the hole in the wall.
Okay, wait, why did we need to burn a hole through the wall if there was a crane there? Never mind. It's the Circus of Crime. Bad planning. This has been bad planning all around. It's the Circus of Crime.
Meanwhile, the python has been found by another guard who scares it off by shooting a gun at it.
That would scare me.
Yeah. The snake slithers off into a vent, and the guards go to activate the alarm, summoning all of their co-workers and all of their fucking assault rifles.
This museum is packing some major heat. There have
Seriously.
been so many guards, all armed to the fucking teeth.
Uh-huh. So Ringmaster is able to quickly hypnotize these guys so that their shots miss, which I guess kind of works.
Yeah.
Cannonball asks why Ringmaster couldn't hypnotize them to just not shoot at them. And Ringmaster says that he didn't have enough time to, and also asks, why does it matter?
You're fucking me up calling him Cannonball.
Well, that's what his name is. That's what they call him. Well, it matters because the sound of the gunshots is waking Thor up from his trance. Which is less than ideal.
That's not gonna go well for you,
Yeah.
Mr. Ringmaster.
Dazed and unsure of where he is and what he's doing, Thor turns away and drops the bowl. Ringmaster then loses control of the guards, too, who see Thor and immediately assume, correctly, that it is the real Thor, and incorrectly, that he has willingly turned to a life of crime with a circus of all things.
I knew it. It wasn't a newspaper man, it was the cops, but I knew where this was going.
The museum cops, yeah.
Yeah, the museum cops.
I know. They're cops. They're basically cops. They're wearing cop uniforms. That's why they wrote guard on them, so that we would know it's the guard of the museum and not a cop. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So apparently when Thor dropped the bowl, it pinned Princess Python to the wall. She pleads for his help.
He dropped it on the floor.
You would think that, right?
There was no wall there. There was no wall there.
Well, she's pinned against the wall, so that's how it is.
There was no wall.
She pleads for his help, even as he shrinks back from the gunshots, without his godly powers to protect him.
Yeah.
At that very moment, Sif and Balder are watching this all happen in a viewing crystal, and lamenting that they've been forbidden to help.
Is this about when Odin starts feeling bad about what he did?
We'll see. Sif says that even though Odin is mad, Thor is still his son, and he surely wouldn't want anything to happen to him.
That's where I'm at.
Odin himself is standing moodily on Yggdrasil's branches, thinking about how Thor didn't do what he wanted, and therefore must be punished.
Oh my god, that's so
So
angsty.
no help there.
That's so angsty.
Apparently, the cops have stopped shooting and are now giving a warning, which would have been nice to lead with, maybe, but they are cops.
Yeah.
Thor hesitates for a moment, torn
They're
between...
security guards, technically, as we know.
Yeah.
It says guard right on the shirt.
True. Thor hesitates for a moment, torn between the idea of being tried as a common criminal and fighting the very mortals that he vowed to protect. Princess Python is still trapped, by the way. Because Thor stopped to think about it for, like, a second, the guards decide that they can't wait any longer and start shooting again.
Okay. This is going really well.
So that's the end of our first issue. So this issue does have a B story, but it's not Tales of Asgard. It's the origin of
I forgot.
The origin of the Inhumans, which I did not prepare because I didn't think it was relevant.
Okay.
So we're just gonna skip it.
Oh, I was gonna go and see.
You can, I mean, you could feel free to look at it as much as you want.
There were dinosaurs. Guys were fighting dinosaurs. This isn't a dinosaur. This is like a really big weasel.
Yeah, it's like a weird...
Ages ago, when the dinosaurs were dying, men were fighting big weasels.
Uh-huh.
There was lightning. And then there was
a robot
who was a member of a different race of people.
Aliens.
Who died. Or were they aliens? Okay. I thought it was like people who were there but aren't there, but it doesn't matter. There's this robot.
I don't know.
And then Saber-Tooth Tiger. These dudes don't like that. Oh, that guy's not a robot. Oh, shit.
Oh, no, it was a helmet.
It was a helmet all along. And they're stealing animals. They're stealing animals, these bastards.
Those motherfuckers.
Oh, shit. But there's this crazy sci-fi facility here. Adelan. This is the city of Adelan.
I thought it was Attilan.
Oh, I always thought it was Adelan. That's how I've always pronounced it.
Attilan sounds better.
I don't agree. So they're dedicated to human knowledge, and we dare not use the potent Terrigen mist on any living being. What says Randak? Oh, I know. I've heard of Randak before. Randak says... it must be tested. I don't know what they're testing. Oh, the Terrigen mist.
Terrigen.
That's right. They're like, okay, well, I'll try the Terrigen. And so Randak walks into the mists and becomes an Inhuman. So that's the Inhumans, guys.
Uh-huh.
Like and subscribe and smash that motherfucking bell.
Great job. You explained that super well.
I barely read it, motherfucker.
No, you did. Genuinely. That aside, we're going to move on to Thor 147.
I like this cover.
From October of 1967, written by Stan Lee, penciled by Jack Kirby, inked by Vince Colletta, and lettered by Artie Simek. You can hear my voice starting to go a little bit.
Yeah. If you hear noise in the background, it's raining.
It is. That's true. So we have a lovely cover here. You might notice this is a little bit incongruous with what's supposed to be happening right now.
Yeah, I do recall that Loki was a fart cloud without thoughts.
No.
No, wait. Loki was not a fart cloud.
Loki used to be a fart cloud, but then
Loki
was not a fart
planet,
cloud.
Railing at...
just being there.
Yelling at the sky, mad at Odin.
Yeah. So Loki's on the cover.
Yep.
So is Odin with a fucking weird-ass hat, which is nothing new.
Yeah, it's almost not even worth mentioning.
Honestly.
On the list of his craziest hats, this is like a solid...
I don't know, the part that goes in front of his mouth is weird.
It makes it kind of look like he's got headgear.
It looks like one of those beer hats.
Oh, God. It really kind of does.
Yeah. So, anyway... back to the story. Thor's in a sticky situation. He can't leave Princess Python pinned and being fired upon, but neither can he stay and subject himself to arrest. So he has to make a choice.
Yeah.
Slowly, he lifts the bowl off of its captive. The guards brace themselves, expecting him to throw it at them, but he just declares that he has no idea how he got here or why he was helping with a crime, but that he will fix it. Then he carries the bowl back to its pedestal. The guards are grateful, but they still move in to arrest him, although they promise leniency.
They can't do that.
You're right, because they're just guards.
Right.
Princess Python, however, surges forward, insisting that Thor was innocent and didn't know what he was doing. The cops tell her that she will have the chance to tell her side of things during the trial, and that she should calm down and stop yelling. But, as it happens, she wasn't just yelling out of outrage. Because her pet...
I was gonna say she's calling for the getaway driver.
The getaway snake, yes. So the python slithers out of a nearby vent, and then both it and she spring into action, jumping out of the hole in the wall to where the rest of the circus is just standing around, apparently. Princess Python says that they need to go help Thor, but Ringmaster demands that they hit the bricks.
Yeah, this crime isn't going how we planned, so...
Yeah, we gotta get out of here. They take off in their comical vehicle that they couldn't possibly be tracked down in.
Gee, I wonder where they went.
I wonder. With this fucking snake flying out the window, the crane on top.
Crane. It's covered in stars and purple.
Yup. In a random police precinct, Thor finishes delivering his testimony. He's told the cops everything that he can, but they're not buying it, probably because he was fucking hypnotized and knows next to nothing.
Yes.
Having refused the right to a lawyer, I say, shrugging, all Thor can do is hand over the disenchanted Mjolnir before they haul him off to a cell.
Okay. Good of him to just volunteer it, I guess.
Right. We turn to some unnamed limbo where Loki is serving out his most recent punishment.
Right, Loki was in limbo.
Yes. Loki says that while there was no time limit placed on his sentence, he knows that eventually Odin will have a change of heart and let him out.
Yeah.
Which seems pretty optimistic, but Odin is prone to weird mood changes, so maybe he has a point.
I think it does track. That seems right.
It does seem right, doesn't it? Even as he's thinking this, he feels himself being pulled away and suddenly pops into Asgard in front of dear old dad himself. I guess because Odin is fighting with Thor right now, he's like, well, I can have at least one kid around.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Baldur.
No. Well, at this point...
Baldur is not.
At this point, Stan isn't recognizing that Odin has other children.
Yes.
Baldur and Sif enter to see that Loki is back, which they find troubling given that Thor is currently banished.
Yeah, they're not big fans.
They're not big fans of Loki, no. They try to reason with Odin, but they just make him mad again, as he declares with rising volume that no, he will not be persuaded because Thor did something he didn't like, and his will is beyond reproach.
That makes perfect sense.
Doesn't it? Baldur pulls Sif away to comfort her while Loki offers some platitudes to Odin before stalking off to plot new mischief.
Obviously.
Exactly. He wastes absolutely no time portaling himself to Earth, appearing in an alley and scaring a couple of homeless men who really didn't need this on top of everything else going wrong in their lives. Meanwhile, Thor is sitting in a cell with some random guy who asks some decent questions, like, couldn't Thor just break the wall down and leave? And why did the cops let him keep his cool outfit instead of putting him in a jumpsuit like everyone else?
That is a good question.
Thor's answers don't satisfy him, and the man wonders aloud if Thor might be some kind of plant sent here to spy on the other inmates.
Well, I don't know how that would be working, considering he is very, very obtrusive.
Yeah, if that were true, he would be a very, very bad one. I mean, the guy apparently also doesn't think that he's actually Thor, which is baffling because that means he believes that the cops would plant a spy in the jail, but specifically dress him up as a superhero to, what, intimidate the other inmates?
Profit.
That seems counterproductive to the whole spying thing. I really have no idea what they're getting at with this.
I don't know.
Just, like, the whole idea of him being there as a plant is completely ridiculous. The guy knocks Thor's helmet off his head, to which Thor decides to pick him up and teach him a lesson. Luckily for this idiot, a guard comes in and catches this happening. Apparently someone has posted bail and Thor is free to go.
Oh shit, it's G-Man!
Thor is happy to meet his mysterious benefactor, who, to anyone with eyes, is obviously Loki in a hat and sunglasses.
No, it's G-Man.
Thor's apparently none the wiser as Loki shows him to their car that they have, for some reason, and starts to drive away. Thor has a sneaking suspicion that he knows this guy from somewhere. And
Wake up and smell the ashes!
The more he studies his savior, the more certain he grows until he reaches over and pulls the sunglasses off his face.
It's Loki!
Oh my god! Who could have foreseen this? Having been thus revealed, Loki drops the facade and pulls a disappearing act on the entire fucking car that they were just in, leaving both them and Thor standing in the middle of the road in full Asgardian kit, much to the surprise of everyone else on the road.
Why?
Just because.
Why was the car even necessary?
He was just having a little bit of fun, I guess. He's like, I'm gonna pretend to be this guy with the sunglasses and drive Thor somewhere. Oh, God. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Loki immediately takes a hard swing, knocking Thor flat on his back. He gloats over the fallen Thor, proclaiming how long he has dreamed of the day that he could finally win in a fight between them. Thor says there's no way Odin approves of this, to which Loki says, verbatim, what he doesn't know won't hurt him.
Yeah, that's very sibling.
Exactly.
What, are you gonna go rat me out to dad?
But Thor isn't beat yet, suddenly slamming the boastful Loki with an uppercut, to which Loki responds with a swift chop that sends Thor reeling against a nearby wall. Loki moves in to strike again, but Thor grabs them and throws them through a storefront. Loki throws an entire display case at him, but Thor dodges and starts parkouring up the side of a building, trying to lure Loki away from the innocents at ground level. He's grabbing onto, like, a sign hanging off the side of this building.
Doesn't hold his weight.
Well, it would, except Loki doesn't care about the humans and isn't going to follow Thor's rules. So they slam a hand into the wall and pull the entire sign down.
Okay, that's what happened. I was a little bit confused.
Yeah. Loki broke it down, causing Thor to crash back down to Earth.
At which point, Thor will finally have to submit to the wet willy in his ear.
And the Indian burn.
Oh, the Indian burn.
Loki's the younger sibling, so it's just revenge for all the ones that Thor gave him.
Obviously.
Loki moves in to strike the final blow, boasting that once Thor is gone, he will be the strongest in Asgard after Odin.
I don't think that's true.
Thor correctly points out the several people that Loki forgot in this assessment, including Balder, Heimdall, Hogun, Fandral.
And more. This is such a sibling fight.
It really is. Thor continues to fight back, but he is not doing much, as Loki points out the fatigue taking over his now powerless body. In fact, after dodging just a few blows, Loki is able to grab the staggering Thor and hoist him over their head, preparing to dash him on the ground and be rid of him. I don't know why throwing him on the ground is supposed to be the end of this, but Loki thinks it is, so
maybe
whatever.
Jump up on the ropes and give him the elbow.
Right? Suddenly, there's a noise as Sif and Balder appear behind Loki. Apparently, they've come to help Thor despite Odin's orders, and Sif steps up to challenge the god of mischief. Balder, however, tells her to stay back, perhaps sensing what's about to happen, as Odin, his eyes cast to earth, rages over the disobedience of not only Thor, but also Loki, and now Balder and Sif.
Yeah.
Furious by the complete disregard for his will, he metes out a swift punishment in the form of some mysterious beam hurtling toward Earth.
Oh no, fuck, a beam.
Oh no, Odin shooting beams.
Odin shooting beams.
Oh no.
Code red.
How about more the origin of the Inhumans?
That we're not prepared for.
No, not at all, because I didn't care about the fucking Inhumans.
Alright, so there's this big guy. He's big and green, and he's approaching the demon city of Adelan. The Adelan was behind the robot man. That's what was up, I think.
Okay.
I guess that makes sense there, like, kind of like, oh, we are recording humans, we're not, like, we're kind of, I don't know if it makes sense. Anyway, this green guy is heading to Adelan.
This green bitch.
The humans are not happy, they're throwing shit, mostly arrows. This guy's got a spear, there's a guy with a...
I don't know if cavemen had bow and arrow.
Well, now you do.
Okay.
Now you know.
You're right, really cleared that up.
Well, the arrows aren't working, so it's time to bring out the war mammoth. I don't know if that's what's happening. Let's see here.
No, don't read it. Just tell me your interpretation.
Okay. Well, there's a war mammoth and...
a dog and an armadillo.
Yeah.
And a bird.
Yeah. That's his posse. That's who Green Dude rolls with. So, okay.
And then he walks into the sea.
Oh, we get some of the thing talking about how the Supreme Masters are the Kree race. and now he's been woken up from his sleep of ages, and something big and crazy must have happened to make that happen. It's like, hey, look, there's this city, and that means that the whole experiment the Kree were working on, that worked out pretty well. So he uses his hover boots so he can hover across the ocean or whatever the fuck, the lake, the pond, the water. So this guy's named Sentry, and Sentry's he's headed there to figure out what's going on. So the Kree apparently wanted to see what was up with all the savages here. And so they gave some of them crazy genes. Like a tribe of them have crazy genes. And then they forgot about it.
Yeah, basically.
And now the Sentry's like, what's up? And so there's Adelan, and they're like, okay, well, this guy's coming. I guess he seems more interesting than all the spear guys, so let's see what happened. King Randak just got out. I wonder what the fuck happened with him, either. Okay. Randak, looks the same.
That's not Randak.
Power. No, they're talking about Randak. He apparently looks the same, but he has a new power, and Sentry is here. Sentry 459, Intergalactic Sentry 459, not Sentry, relax. Fucking sucks.
I was gonna say there's a dude named that. Not the Sentry, just a Sentry.
Yeah. They're like, hey, I'm here for the Kree. Do you remember the Kree? They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. He wants to know, he wants to tell them, hey, what the fuck is up? I know you forgot about this whole thing, but like, here's what's up. So I heard that your king went and huffed some gases. And I want to know what happened with that. And so Randak comes out and he blasts the Sentry guy.
Why?
It's unnecessary. And he's like, well, you are all now Inhumans. And Randak's like, okay, well, I now know that every person who goes in here will have a new power for some fucking reason. He just knows this. So I'm gonna have everybody huff gases, and this party is gonna be lit.
Yeah. The blast also did nothing to the Sentry, by the way.
Yeah, the Sentry is fine. And the Sentry is happy with the situation, and then he sets off with his hover boots once more. And finally, Black Bolt!
Great, thank you for explaining.
You're welcome. Oh, I know this bitch.
Yeah, we do know this bitch. It's another pretty iconic Thor villain.
Yeah, I did know he was a Thor villain.
Yeah. So, we're gonna go on to Electric Avenue.
And let me take you higher.
Thor number 148, from November of 1967.
The pounding power of the Wrecker.
Ooh.
Sounds a little saucy.
A little bit. Written by Stan Lee, penciled by Jack Kirby, inked by Vince Colletta, and lettered by Sam Rosen. So we resolve the cliffhanger immediately by witnessing the effects of Odin's spell.
The beam!
The beam! It wreaths Loki, Balder, and Sif in a blinding light for a moment, before they all witness the angry eyes of Odin in the sky. For their insolence, Odin has now rendered all of them without powers.
Okay. Do you think everybody else hears this, or is Odin just talking in their heads? Looking up at the sky, just, oh, cool.
I like to imagine that it's the former, because I think that would just be, another pile of bullshit for the inhabitants of New York. Also, Odin's eyebrows are insane today.
Odin's eyebrows remind me of this art teacher I had. He was my photography teacher in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I forget his name, but the guy had eyebrows that fucking curved
Oh
up.
my god.
I'm like, dude, how do you even do that? My eyebrows just grow to like normal eyebrow length. Why do you need a fucking eyebrow manicure?
God. Now that they're on even footing, Thor is eager to resume the fight, but Loki significantly less so.
Yeah, no shit.
Without power, Thor obviously has the advantage in physical strength. Thus, Loki declares the fight postponed and runs off while shouting that the last one to get his powers back is a rotten egg.
Oh my god.
Literally, that's almost exactly what he says.
Perfect.
Right. Meanwhile, somewhere across the city, a rich couple returns from the opera to find their penthouse burglarized, their butler disposed of, and their valuables missing.
No.
The butler, once released from his binding, identifies the culprit as the Wrecker.
Well, worse things have happened to people at the opera in comics.
True. And in real life.
Yes.
And
you could have to see an opera.
Right. Oh, God. Oh, God, you're killing me. So Mr. Rich Guy McFancy Pants quickly calls the police, demanding to speak with the commissioner.
Robbed by the Wrecker.
He's been robbed by the Wrecker.
Whatever that means.
Said commissioner and some other dude.
Wow, the big hoss himself.
Well,
comes
yeah.
Down.
Well, yeah, because he's a rich dude, so
I mean,
he gets
that's
what he
fair.
wants.
Yeah.
So the commissioner and some other dude stand contemplating the problem. The Wrecker is on a crime spree, and he is one of the best they've seen. He's been evading all of their traps. Somehow, they can't quite catch him. The one thing they have on their side is that he isn't possessed of any superhuman powers. And a finger on the monkey's paw curls.
Yeah, they're so close. This guy's so close. He just doesn't
They can smell
look
him.
down. If he puffed his chest out a little bit more, it'd be visible from above.
Soon the cops are out in force, searching the Wrecker's last known location, which is a random rooftop. The Wrecker, in fact, is still here, hiding on a ledge under the lip of the roof. These cops suck.
The inhabitants of New York who are not like, hey, I know you guys, I see all these cops on the roof.
Hey, the dude you're looking for is literally right underneath you.
He's under your nose, quite literally.
You just lean out the fucking window and be like, hey. Hey, he's right there. I mean, I guess it's good that no one in this neighborhood is a snitch.
No snitching policy.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Fancy Pants McRich Town's place.
Right? So,
Ugh.
yeah, the Wrecker has a hell of a face. He's a looker for sure. Somewhere across town, a teenager is delivering a sizable order of food to the office of one Dr. Donald Blake. Apparently, he's been here before and knows the doc well, although the doc has never ordered this much food before. He's pretty surprised when he knocks on the door and it's answered by Thor. Thor takes control of the situation, doling out the food and drinks before paying the boy.
Oh, good, he's paying this time.
Yeah, from Don's wallet. He also says, I'm sure the doctor won't mind if I take his money. Well,
I mean,
he won't, but also that's a weird thing to say.
right. To be fair, it's also his money.
It is. So, he pays the boy and ushers him out the door. And the kid is gonna have a hell of a story to tell to his coworkers.
Yeah. Yeah, sure you did.
Yeah, sure. Now with snacks, the exiled Asgardians take stock of their situation. Balder and Sif are understandably upset by these developments, having been stripped of their powers and abandoned in the world they know nothing about.
All we can do is go to the circus.
It's the only place we could possibly get a job, is at the circus. Thor reassures them as best he can, though he feels slightly guilty at causing this, even if not directly. I mean, they came here to help him, so he kind of feels that it's his fault.
Yeah. And he's back to talking lovey-dovey, or he's back to being weirdly talking about, I don't know.
I find this whole Thor and Sif thing weird because they never at any point decided that they were together.
Yeah.
It's just they were flirting, and then everyone else was like, oh, Sif is Thor's girl now. And they're like, oh, okay.
And then Thor's also still being weird about fucking Jane.
Yeah.
Unless he's apart from when he's not.
Right. Well, you know, it's like when he sees her, then he thinks about her, but when he's not seeing her, she doesn't exist.
Yeah.
No object permanence.
Oh my god, the himbo energy. Off the charts. What is your himbo scope read?
I'm not going to.
You are terrible and mean to me.
I'm not going to.
Me. Okay.
Loki lurks in a dingy rented room, preparing to call on the Norn Queen in his quest to regain his powers. Suddenly he hears a sound outside the window and moves to look, just barely missing a glimpse of the wrecker. Loki returns to their work as the wrecker looks on. He thinks, based on Loki's outfit, that he's some kind of criminal who just completed a job and plans to break in and steal whatever loot he has.
Loki does commit a lot of crimes.
He does. The wrecker crashes in through the window, quickly bonking Loki with his crowbar before inspecting his ill-gotten gains. However, all Loki has is his helmet, which he put in a box for some reason.
Because if he doesn't have super strength, you don't have the confidence to go around in that outfit anymore.
He was wearing a trench coat when he came into this room.
Yeah.
Yeah, he at least has the good sense to put on some other clothes.
Unlike some people.
The wrecker ponders how much the helmet might be worth, just as the Norn Queen answers Loki's summons, bestowing power onto the bearer of the helmet, who happens to be the wrecker.
I didn't realize that's how the wrecker got powers.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Isn't it just?
I love it.
She's just like, yeah, whatever, alright. Having fulfilled her promise, the Norn Queen vanishes. Because she hates Loki. Leaving the now empowered wrecker and Loki slowly rising from the floor.
And the wrecker's shirt is now entirely too tight.
Too tight, way too tight.
He's gonna flex and his buttons are gonna fly off and hit Loki and kill him.
The wrecker very politely returns Loki's helmet, though.
Good of him.
Loki moves to strike back at the wrecker, but is stopped with a single gesture and then banished. Because the wrecker can do that now.
What? I don't remember that one.
Well,
that doesn't last.
So, no. Loki was asking the Norn Queen just for magical powers.
Yeah.
Right. Which she gave to the wrecker.
Okay.
So the wrecker now has magical powers.
Okay.
He just can't do magic.
Yeah.
He tells Loki to get back where he came from, and he disappears.
You know, I think you should have to work at, like, learning things about magic.
You should have to study?
Yeah.
Usually you do, even in the comics, but not this time.
No.
I mean, I guess that was kind of the entire point, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Thor is showing his friends the TV.
Huh. Look at this wonderful device. Very good.
They don't really get the appeal. Thor says that humans use it for entertainment, and they're like, that's not entertainment. The sound of swords clashing. The beauty of a sunset. That is entertainment. Okay, Balder. But, suddenly, there's a conveniently timed news bulletin.
We interrupt this program.
Indeed. There's a conveniently timed news bulletin about the wrecker and his newfound power, which he wasted no time employing on the city at large.
This is an interesting choice of shot for this panel.
Right?
We get a up-the-nose shot of our three Asgardian heroes.
But they did it really badly.
Yeah, but we don't even get an up-the-nose shot of Balder. We just get Balder's big-ass
The other two just look like their faces are squished.
Yeah. Like they're big balloons with Thor and Sif's faces on them.
Yes, exactly. The news says that the wrecker has the powers of Asgard, and while I question how they would know that,
that's a weird assumption.
The fact is that they do, and we just have to live with that.
I don't understand that shit.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. The gang immediately realizes this must have something to do with Loki, and that they therefore have to do something about it.
I mean, that does seem fair. Loki was like, okay, I'm off after some powers.
Right, exactly. So the wrecker is handily holding off the entire NYPD.
Impressive.
He displays his might by toppling an abandoned building nearby.
Okay, it's abandoned. I was about to be like, damn!
Yeah, it's abandoned.
That just happened!
Yeah, Stan went out of his way to say that it's abandoned.
Oh yeah, I see.
Uh-huh. Thor and his pals sneak up behind him, but lose the stealth advantage as Thor announces himself and demands that the wrecker surrender.
Fucking idiot.
Good plan.
It's not noble to slink about.
The wrecker does not surrender, which I'm sure will shock you.
No shit.
And Thor watches helplessly as he banishes Sif and Balder the same way he did Loki.
Oh shit.
Now on his own, Thor turns to fight the wrecker, knowing that he very well may die trying to stop him.
Okay.
This fight, I didn't write down anything for this fight because nothing really exciting happens.
They just fight.
They fight, and they do crash off of the roof into a different roof. So that happened.
I hate when that happens.
Right?
Well, it looks like he's gonna use magic to finish Thor off forever.
Yeah, he is. But, before that, Sif and Balder appear before Odin, having been sent back whence they came by the Wrecker. They try to appeal to Odin, but he's still not having it, and he orders them both begone, declaring that no matter what happens, he won't intervene.
Oh my god, you crab ass.
Right? And that's it. That's all I have.
And finally, Black Bolt.
Tell me about Black Bolt.
Well, here he is, gliding around. I mean, is he yelling if he's gliding? I don't know how that works. I don't know how Black Bolt works. It doesn't matter. Well, it probably does matter considering we're talking about the Inhumans, actually.
Yeah.
So, he touches down and everybody's happy to see him. The king, he's now the king. Randak isn't the king, it's the future now.
Yeah.
And, everybody's like, Black Bolt, and they're just talking about how Black Bolt can't, like, use his power much or else, this shit ain't gonna happen. He does it in the name of justice because if he fucks around and finds out, it ain't gonna go well. Black Bolt's off the charts. Powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And so he, so how did all this happen? Well, let's go to the Historicon, this device that we have.
I'm dying to know.
And we sit here and we watch, Aegon, chief geneticist of Adelan, and his wife and partner, Rinda, the brilliant time-honored parents of a newborn baby.
This man has such a big forehead.
Yeah, I think that's probably his inhuman power, having a big forehead.
Wow, that's a shitty power.
Yeah, makes headbutting pretty cool. And they're like, oh, we got a baby! Let's look at his genes! The Inhumans are fucking...
eugenesis.
I hate it. Holy shit. This baby, like, levitates. No, he doesn't levitate things. He makes toys in midair by controlling electrons, which is cool.
What?
Yeah, he just puts things together and makes things, like, materializes shit.
Okay.
But apparently this will go away as... This is just a baby ability. This is like, have you ever watched Baby Geniuses? Well, this is that, but
he's a gifted child.
But for matter warping or what the fuck ever. But that's gonna go away as he grows up when he's gonna get a new power. His new permanent power.
Levitation.
And he's gonna be able to fly. He's gonna be able to fly through the air like an eagle. And even now, he's floating a little bit. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
He sees good old dad or good old mom. I think good old dad pulling out a gun.
And he's like, fuck that. I'm a baby.
I don't like this shit. And he blasts that shit away because this baby ain't having it.
This baby is pro gun control.
The baby is throwing a temper tantrum. This baby is not happy.
Hey, that's a pretty good baby for comics.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
Comic book babies are almost always bad.
But then as the baby cries, the entire lab is blown apart. Why?
Whoa! Sorry, listeners.
That's a gorgeous one. We're all just gonna have to hear that. And shit starts crashing down and exploding outside. And so they gotta go get the magnetic bulldozer plows. They gotta go get their people who can, like, move this shit. And they're like, okay, we gotta go find out what's up. Where's the geneticist? And they see... No, it is the geneticist.
They're trying to find the baby.
Yeah, okay. I guess the parents just got away. I figured they were just crushed to death.
Why?
Why? But no. And the baby made a force bubble... So the baby is fine.
The baby's fine.
Congratulations. Next, Silence or Death. In which
congratulations, baby.
Black Bolt has to be quiet.
Forever.
I mean, that was probably pretty evident by what
we're not reading more.
Happened. I know. Anyway, so that's that.
Sorry, that was much shorter than I usually do.
That's alright. Shit happens. If I have to read any more Inhuman stories, though, I'm not going to read ahead and figure out what they are. I'm just going to do what I just did.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
So how would you rate those issues?
Okay, let's start with the Circus of Crime.
Yeah.
Stupid. A stupid out of 5. Let's call it a 2 out of 5. These were very short again.
Yeah.
Because the Inhuman story is for some reason happening in Thor.
Right?
But the other 2 weren't bad. I didn't mind the Asgardians trapped on Earth. That was kind of fun. And the Wrecker was kind of fun. So I'm going to rate these together at like about 3.5.
Sure.
I enjoyed them.
Yeah, I'd agree. The circus was very not good. It was dumb. The circus was bad. I would agree with a 2. I mean, it was readable, I suppose.
Yeah.
The other part, I'd say, yeah, I guess I'd agree with your rating all the way.
How would we rate our Inhuman story so far? Y out of 5.
A Y out of 5, yeah.
Agreed. All right. So hopefully we sounded a little bit better this time around.
Other than me coughing and losing my voice.
Well, that's just our wiggle room. Hopefully we're both going to be sounding a little better next time. I'm still full
God,
of
I hope
snot.
so. It's been like 2 weeks since I was sick.
Oh my god, it's been forever. Next time we're going to be back with some stories about the X-Men.
Uh-huh.
So look forward to that. I said Kazar was in him, but it's not really. Kazar's not actually in these stories. It's just Kazar had a series that ran for 3 issues and then I think was largely reprints of Kazar's stories. And then Angel was there for some reason.
Okay.
So that's cool. But anyway, let's do our normal housekeeping. Rate us 5 stars, whatever Podchaser you use.
Uh-huh.
That'd be awesome. Recommend us to your friends. That'd be cool. Email us at comicsplaining@gmail.com. Tell me how I did on the Inhuman story.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to do anything different but with this Inhuman origin story that we for some reason have. We also have our social media. We are on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook. If you'd like to support the show, you can jump on our Patreon. Patrons get access to the show a day earlier. Higher tiers get more stuff. We also have a coffee. If you want to watch a video version of the show, check us out over on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. That's where you're going to see clips of what we're talking about. And join our Discord. We leave a link in the comments of every issue. And we're going to be back next week with that X-Men issue. We'll be talking to you then. Bye.
Bye.